In this video, we're going to look at equivalent inequalities with construction webs given numbers. So let's read the directions. Complete the construction web by starting with the inequality -12 is less than 18. So notice we're starting with a true inequality and performing the indicated operations on the inequality moving outward. Make certain to look at the numbers after performing the operations and place the correct inequality symbol in the comparison. Note, the direction of the inequality may change. So, when we are working with equations, we automatically put the equal symbol in the middle. But now that we're working with inequalities, we're going to wait to see and compare the numbers. Since we're working with numbers, we can compare them and determine which one is greater after the operation, and then we'll look for patterns to see if we can develop any general rules. So notice it says perform the first operation with -2. So I'm going to go around in a circle. So we have -12. I want to subtract -12 minus -2 is the left-hand side, and on the right I have 18 minus -2. Well, -12 minus -2 is -12 plus 2, which is -10. 18 minus -2 is 18 plus 2, which is 20. And -10 is less than 20. So notice the direction of the symbol stayed the same when we subtracted. Now let's do addition. We have -12 plus -2 on the left, and 18 plus -2 on the right. Well, this is -14 on the left and 16 on the right, and -14 is less than 16. So the inequality symbol stayed in the same direction. Now let's try multiplying. We have -12 times -2 on the left, and 18 times 2 on the right, -2, excuse me. So a negative times a negative is positive, so we have 24 on the left, and a positive times a negative is negative, so we have -36 on the right. So 24 is greater than -36. So in this case, the direction of the inequality symbol changed. Let's look at division. On the left, we have -12 divided by -2, and on the right, we have 18 divided by -2. The left-hand side will be 6. The right-hand side is -9, and 6 is greater than -9. So in this case, the direction of the inequality symbol also reversed. So far, when we did addition and subtraction, the direction of the inequality symbol stayed the same. And when we did multiplication and division, the direction of the inequality symbol switched. So let's look at the next one. So our second operations we're going to perform on the previous ones. We're going to use the number 3. So I'm going to take this result, and I want to divide by 3. So -10 divided by 3, and 20 divided by 3. Now I'm not going to simplify those, I'm just going to leave them as they are. So -10 thirds on the left, 20 thirds on the right. And I know that a positive is always bigger than a negative, so I don't need to figure exactly what they equal in terms of mixed numbers. And I have -10 thirds is less than 20 thirds. Well, the direction stayed the same as the last example. So here we divided, but the direction of the inequality symbol did not change. Let's see what happens on the next one. Here we want to multiply by 3. So -14 times 3 on the left, and 16 times 3 on the right. Let's see, this is 42, -42 on the left, and 48 on the right. Well, positives are greater than all negatives, so -42 is less than 48. And that's the same as the previous direction of the previous results direction of the inequality. So now we had division and multiplication, and the order did not change. let's look at subtraction and addition. So here we want to subtract 3. So 24 minus 3 on the left, negative 36 minus 3 on the right. That's 21 on the left and negative 39 on the right. 21 is greater than negative 39. The direction stayed the same as the previous. And finally, adding 3 on the left, 6 plus 3. On the right, negative 9 plus 3. So we have 9 on the left and negative 6 on the right, and 9 is greater than negative 6. So now, summing up, there were only 2 situations where we had to switch directions. It was division and multiplication, but for this division and multiplication we did not have to switch directions. So what was the difference? Well, the first operations were performed with negative 2, and the second operations were performed with positive 3. Okay? So in these 2 cases, okay, we were multiplying or dividing by a negative, and notice how that changed the original. The negative 12, when we divided it by a negative, it became positive, and the positive divided by a negative became negative, so it reversed the direction of the inequality symbol, and the same result happened here. So, to sum up on our next slide, so in what cases did we need to reverse the direction of the inequality symbol? And it was multiplying or dividing by a negative number. In every other case, the initial direction stayed the same. So this leads to our properties. The addition property of inequality states that you can add the same quantity to both sides of an inequality, and the resulting inequality remains true. So for addition or subtraction, no matter whether the numbers are positive or negative, just like with an equation, you can add or subtract a number from both sides, and it's still a true statement. The multiplication property of inequality for positive factors, notice it says positive factors, states that you can multiply both sides of an inequality by the same positive number, and the resulting inequality remains true. Note we can consider division as multiplying by the reciprocal of the divisor, and therefore this applies to division as well. So now we know, just like with equations, okay, we can multiply both sides by or divide by a positive factor. The inequality is still true, and we don't have to change directions on the inequality symbol. So the one and only one difference when we're solving inequalities compared to equations is the multiplication property of inequality for negative factors. States that if you multiply both sides of an inequality by the same negative number, then reversing the direction of the inequality is required to make the resulting inequality remain true. And this applies to division as well. Okay? So when we're working with inequalities, the good news is almost everything is going to be the same that we dealt with equation in terms of solving them. We can add numbers to both sides, it's still true. We can subtract numbers from both sides, it's still true. Okay? We can multiply and divide both sides by a positive number, and it's still true. The only difference is if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to reverse the direction of the inequality sign. Okay? So now we're going to use these ideas and build up some inequality statements with variables.